Alright everybody, Corey here with the last video for the evening. I'm going to go over ULTY trades and holdings. I thought about waiting, but I wanted to get this out, especially since I've mentioned something to a couple of you about you might want to watch this video. So anyway, to get started, as a reminder, I'm not a I do not provide I can't even talk now. Provide personal investment advice, and I'm not a qualified licensed investment advisor. I am an amateur investor. All information found here, including any ideas, opinions, views, predictions, forecasts, commentaries, suggestions, or stock picks expressed or implied herein, are for informational, entertainment, or educational purposes only and should not be construed as personal investment advice. While the information provided is believed to be accurate, it may include errors and inaccuracies. Conduct your own due diligence or conduct a licensed financial advisor or broker before making any and all investment decisions. Any investments, trades, speculations, or decisions made on the basis of information found in this video, expressed or implied herein, are committed at your own risk, financially or otherwise. Yieldmax ETS risk information is found on their website. Quick overview. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. This information, along with other details, is available in the prospectus. Please read the prospectuses carefully before making any investment. Investments involve risk. Principal loss is possible. This here, again, is a copy and paste from their website. You can pause the video and you can read this, or you can go to their website and read it there. But just to go over, they go in depth about underlying security risk, derivatives risk, distribution risk, NAV erosion risk due to distributions, call writing strategy risk, single issuer risk, high portfolio turnover risk, new fund risk, liquidity risk, and non-diversification risk. All right. So I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can, but also get the data out. Staying awake is not my friend right now. So we're going to go through here just to look. Let's look at the closed ones real quick. So we had E-Hang here. It actually still would have looked good just looking here at the data, but it was closed out today, all 97 contracts, and they received $4,000 for that. You can see here, LabU, they closed out of the synthetic positions for that, and Mara, the short calls would have expired worthless on Friday. Mara being the biggest loser here in 600,000, over $500,000 to close out the synthetic positions there. From what I understand, Mara is just going to continue to go down, at least that's what I'm hearing. So I don't know, just what I've heard. And then we have Solar Edge here. I know this was a newer one, but they have closed out of those synthetic positions. So we'll cover all the trades on the holdings sheet. We did not have any new purchases as far as new tickers today. But there is something new on here, and it took me a minute to wrap my head around it. And I don't know if this strategy is just because Friday was red and today was red, and they expect the future to be red. I don't know if this is going to be what they're going to do from now on to try to keep from, losing so much money for ULTY as it's done over the past several weeks. I don't know. But to quickly, just to, point this out real quick, and I say quick, and it probably won't be. After I had already done this, and when I realized what they had done, I'd already done all my formatting. Otherwise, I guess I should have tried to sort this better so these things would, I can't even think. They would be sorted and organized together. So right now they're not. So let's just look at Clean Spark right here to give you an example. At first, I thought there might have been a mistake or things weren't closed out or whatever else. But as I started really looking into them and looking at the share count and stuff, no, this is accurate. So you can see here, we have two synthetic positions. when we're looking at Clean Spark. Again, these are not sorted, so the calls are together and the puts are together versus, the one synthetic with the call put with the same strike price being together. Therefore, you'll see more numbers in columns O and Q, which I normally delete out for you so you don't see duplicates. Which I guess I could have, in this case, I could have just deleted the bottom two when it came to that, but I didn't think about that till just the second. I did these earlier. But, so we had two synthetic positions. So instead of so let's see which ones they added. So they added the top one. So they added the 14. So they had the synthetic for 17 strike price. And you can see, at least as of close today, we're underneath that by 14%. So instead of them continuing to keep just adding to the synthetics that's bleeding, they have now created a new synthetic with a lower strike price. So you can see that here with a strike price of $14. So instead of just keep adding to the old, they created a new one. So, which, is not going to hurt anything, because if they end up going up and they get above the 17, that's great because we got that, but they're also still above the 14 and significantly, so they'd still be good there. So again, I don't know if they're just doing this because of, well, I guess there's three. It's either because it was red the last few days, and they think, it may keep going, which these synthetics don't expire for a month, so maybe that's not the case. And then maybe this is just their whole, brand new, which actually I guess that could go hand in hand with the third one I was going to say, their new strategy. But maybe that's part of the strategy because, depending, I haven't looked at all of these in depth, so we'll see it as we go along. Is it just going to be for those that are underneath the synthetic or underneath it significantly, like we can see here? So I guess we'll look at that together as we're going through, because as you know, for those that have been watching, we go through these together. I get all the data and gather it, and I double check some things and everything, but in depth here is usually together. All right, so I'm going to just scroll back up to the top so we can start at the beginning, then we'll have to look at those as we go. Let's hide this. All right, so Biohaven, they added 171 contracts to the current synthetic, so let's look at that. So the current synthetic was 45, and the stock price, at least at close today, was 44.77. So in this one, they did not create another synthetic. And at the time, it's probably because we were above it, or close to it, right? In this instance, you can see at least at the end of the day, we were within a few cents of it. Okay, so it's not going to be just always, as we can tell in this situation. So they added there because the synthetic price looked to be still good and valid. And then they created a new short call there with 171 contracts with a strike price of $50. We're currently underneath that strike price by 10%. Of course, they also have a short call that expires Friday also with a strike price of 60, and we're underneath that by 25%. And let's see, this stock actually dropped 16% today. That's right. This one was the biggest loser of the ULTY fund today. 16%. All right. So we're going to move on to Clean Spark here. I'm sorry. So Clean Spark, they created a brand new synthetic position, which we'd already seen. That new synthetic position with the strike price is $14. And we're currently above that strike price by 5%. So that looks better than just adding to the one that was already negative 14%. And then they created a new short call for this week with the total contracts, so that to match the synthetics total, 1,951. And that short call expires this Friday with a strike price of $17, and we're underneath that by 14%. And we can see that the stock dropped 1% today, which is not bad considering. All right, let's move on to coin. So in this case, they added 24 contracts to the synthetic. So let's just look at it. We usually don't look too much in depth in these, but the strike price was 240 and the current price is 223. So we are below that 7%. However, I guess it's not double digits like the other ones, but there's one of those things too. At what point of the day did they purchase this, right? And what happened at the end of the day? So if I'm looking up specifically at coin on my phone, and if I'm looking at sort of what happened intraday here, oh yeah. So this thing was just, well, let me keep zooming out. Okay, I'm on my phone, it's a little harder. Let me go to a 3-minute window. Yeah, it's just a waterfall down all day long. It did look like it was going to start recovering at one point. It did start going back up, but then at noon it just started going back down, and then it just kept bleeding to the downside there, dropping 20 something dollars today, or 9% total. Yeah, and also this one we expect that it would come up with the Bitcoin halving, but it could be a sell the news type of event. So anyway, sorry, just trying to put these together, right, to try to figure out why as we go through this. So they also created the new short call for the week for the 126 total contracts with a strike price of 260 that will expire this Friday, and we're currently underneath that by 14%. And yeah, as you can see over here on the right, we had dropped 9% there. All right, so let's move on to Carvana. So Carvana, they did not add to the synthetic. They created a new synthetic. As you can see, we're at 13% at the end of the day, so we're double digits. So they created a new one at a $65 strike price, the 7% below. I'm sorry, we are 7% above the strike price for that synthetic position. Okay, so if we go over here, we see our new short call with 420 contracts that expires this Friday with a strike price of $75, and we are below that strike price by 7%. And you can see actually the stock itself dropped 7% today. If we move on to Enphase, again, they did not add to the existing synthetic. They created a new synthetic. So that strike price is $105 versus $115. Now in this case, I mean, they were at the end of the day anyway, we were only negative 2% on that synthetic. So then that makes me everything that I was just thinking right out the window, right? But Enphase, that is energy company. It did go down most of the day until, what time of day is that? 1:30ish. Then it just went sideways the rest of the day versus continuing to go down like the rest of them so far. But it's also an energy stock. So, I don't know. Obviously, well, I say it's not an oil stock, but I don't know. I hear Enphase all the time, but I don't truly know what this stock is. Oh, also today, so they have earnings coming up as well. I see that as I'm looking in Moo at this account. All right. Solar. So this says it's a solar company, so I didn't realize that. I guess when we've looked at them, if I just open this. So actually, that's not what this says. This says energy info, semiconductor, and it's semiconductor equipment. I don't know. Maybe I'm not smart enough to know that that's what that's supposed to be. I'm just looking in the Moo app and see that it says this is home things for solar. So that means we had 3 solar companies. All right. So earnings is coming up with that one that I just happened to see by going in there and looking. Okay, so to look at the short calls here, 263 contracts with a new short call with a strike price of 120. Of course, this expires this Friday, and we're currently underneath the strike price by 6%. The stock did end up dropping 4% today. If we look at GigaCloud, they added to the synthetic with the $30 strike, so we were above this one, so that's good. So we weren't even negative on that one. They created a new short call with those 144 contracts with a strike price of $35 that will expire this Friday, but we also had a short call already for this Friday with a strike price of $40. And we are currently underneath those strike prices by 7 and 19%. And this stock was actually up 2% today. Oh, that's right, we had 1 and 2. Mind Medicine was the other one. So then we have Intracellular Therapies here. They added 99 contracts to the synthetic. So again, that was in the green. So it makes sense. And then they created a new short call for the 98 contracts with a strike price of $70. And we're currently underneath that strike price. We have another short call that expires Friday also with $75. So we are under the 2 strike prices by 7 and 14%. And this stock dropped 2% today. If we look at Mind Medicine, they added to the existing positions. So you have 2 short calls that expire Friday with strike prices of 11 and 12. And you can see that we are below those strike prices by 11 and 19%. And then you can see that this actually went up 1% or 11 cents today, which is significant compared to, it's not a significant amount, but it's significant that it was green versus the way the rest of the stocks have looked today. If we move on to MicroStrategy, so they created a new short call and new synthetics here. So if we look at the synthetics first, it's the first one. So they created a new synthetic with a strike price of $13.50, and we can see at the end of today they were actually negative 11%. On the original synthetic. Of course, at the end of the day, they were negative 1% on the new synthetic. All right. So that's 21. Okay. So then they created a new short call with 6 contracts there with a strike price of $15.70. We also had the short call with the strike price was $1,600. Both of these expire Friday, and we're underneath those strike prices currently by 15 and 17%. This stock dropped 10% today, and we know this one's been going in this range of the 13 to 15 in 15s for the last week or so. So keep that in mind. NanoX Imaging, they added to the synthetic here. So we were in the green, makes sense. And then NanoX Imaging created a new short call with a strike price of $10. And we also have a short call with a strike price of $12.50. Both of these expire Friday, and we're currently underneath the strike prices by 9 and 27%. This stock fell 6% today. Root, they created a new synthetic position with a strike price of $60, And you can see previously it was $70, or our other one is $70. And at the end of the day, we were underneath that one 9%. So almost double digits on that one. So I see that one. And then we have a new short call that will expire this Friday with a strike price of $75. And then we have the existing short call with a strike price of $85. Both of those expire on Friday, and we're currently 15 and 25% below these strike prices. And this stock dropped 5% today. Then we have Sunrun that added to the synthetic. We were already in the green, or we're at the green at the end of the day. And they had a new short call here with a strike price of $11.50, and then we had the existing short call with a strike price of $12.50. So we're currently underneath those strike prices by 7 and 14%. This stock did drop 8% today. SMCI, so they created a new synthetic here for 5 contracts. With a new strike price of $8.80, which makes sense because look at that significant negative 12% on the old synthetic. And then we have our new short call with 33 contracts with a strike price of $9.75, which expires Friday, and we're currently underneath that by 9%. So this stock dropped 2% today. Viking Therapeutics here. They created a new synthetic position. Again, you can see the other one was negative 11%. So, and then they created a new short call with a strike price of $71 that expires Friday, and we're underneath that by 6%. And I failed to mention that the strike price for the other synthetic is $55. Sorry, I was just thinking, it's great and all, that we're doing those further down. And I don't know, I'm assuming we expect by keeping the other one that we're still hoping that it's going to come back up, or that it might come back up. I'm not sure because I'm not an options person. I don't know how to trade options and do all that stuff. And all the ins and outs of that. I'm sure Max could answer this question, but just not sure why they don't just go ahead and close all of them out and go for the lower, which is probably a concentration issue. Well, maybe not so much in ULTY. I could see that with the other funds, the single stock funds, but I don't know that would be an issue here. With these, with not a lot in each one of these, but I don't know. I'm just here to provide data. Provide the data, right? Some of you, most of you are a lot smarter than me when it comes to all this type of stuff and would know more about why they may do something. But anyway, so we went through those strike prices. So we only had the one short call though. This stock did end up dropping 2% today. So Vertiv, or VRT, so they added to the synthetic, and we were green, so that makes sense. Looking at our new strategy here, and they created the new short call for the week at the $86 strike price. We're currently underneath that by 6%, and the stock dropped by 4% today. And that does expire this Friday. In fact, I haven't looked, but I'm guessing all of the short calls expire this Friday. I know some of them were out a couple of weeks, but the ones that were, I think, were out a couple of weeks to this week. So I guess it makes sense that we don't have any new ones that are further out. So all of our short calls may expire this Friday, unless there's one I don't recall off the top of my head here. But anyway, we move on to Wayfair. So they created a new synthetic. Well, so this one we were underneath it, the other one by 6%, but it wasn't like double digits there. But or at least not at the end of the day, it wasn't. I guess there could be an expectation that it could have been. But anyway, So that new synthetic, the old one was a $60 strike price. The new one is a $50 strike price. And then we have our short call for the week, 525 shares with a strike price of $60. We're currently 6% below that strike price, and this stock dropped 6% today. All right, we move on to Wolf Speed. They added to the synthetic, which was positive, and they created a new short call that will expire this Friday at 28. With strike price of 28, and they had another short call already with a strike price of 29. So we're currently underneath those strike prices, 9 and 12%. And this stock was actually down 3% overall. And then I'll just quickly go through these other ones, let y'all see for anybody that wants to see this data real quick. Of course, I haven't even looked at the data. Yeah, I guess this was something I had there before and it got unhidden when I was doing something. Hide. Sorry, I did not format this one. There we go. I have to do this one every single day. And then, of course, our dollar amount for cash up there is a percentage for some reason. But if we're looking here, there we go. You should be able to see everything on the screen. And it looks like it's all messed up. Percentages are messed up. Dollar amounts are messed up. Awesome. So I had to fix that. I'm guessing it's going to have something to do with the weekly video and me sorting and doing all kinds of mess on the other end. Which it reminds me, what day? Oh, it is Monday. Okay, yeah. I don't know why I'm thinking it's Tuesday. So that's why this is the adjustments, market values, those dollars and percentages are messed up. So I guess disregard column D and E. I'll have to fix that. Date added. Of course, we had no new in there. And then we have the only update here would be what our current IV is in the IV ranking, if you see anything there. Otherwise, I'm just going to move on. I'm a little tired this evening. Here's our weightings and market values by sector only. Of course, most of our stuff is in cash since we're doing synthetic positions, so it's really hard to tell much from that data. And then our shares increased today. Guess I didn't copy that down yet. You see, what is that? 175,000 shares. As a reminder that tomorrow is declaration date, so you should see or hear that announced in the morning time. Ex-dividend date is Thursday. I did do this in the other video. Sorry, I forget how to. There we go. But just to be able to show you this real quick in case you want to see it or did not watch the other video. This just gives you sort of that view of what happened today within all of the, of course I need to take Hut 8 off of here, I guess. I didn't think about that earlier. Well, okay, I guess I have too many things I'm pushing on here. Hut 8, so let's do Hut 8, let's take that off. And then, there we go. So anyway, just a quick view of this. I don't know how many of you watch the roundup, the daily roundup, and how many of you watch this. So I hate showing things twice, but I don't know who's watching what and who wants to see what when. So it makes things a little bit more difficult. But this is where we were basically in the middle of the day or throughout the day, intraday for ULTY. And then if we look at daily, since inception, we can see that this went down to $6.43 today, which made its low since inception. But anyway, I will let y'all go, and I will talk with y'all later. I hope y'all have a great day tomorrow. Bye.